gives me a copy right here. Thank you. What'd she say today? Because I buzzed her. Apparently I need to be good counseling other than in general. So my apologies for not before we continue on that stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yes, gotcha.
When people come in, they want to, this is what. Oh, yeah, they're here. They're here. But I can't read that. She said I don't have to do it because it's not on the agenda. But we don't know what we should do here.
She said she wasn't going to be here.
Should I just not say it?
Erin might have an extra one. She looks like she might have brought her own. Oh, Erin, you drink your water? Here, you got guy handwriting. You write Eric's name.
Guy handwriting. Sloppy, I guess that's it.
You're welcome.
She told me I didn't have to do it, so I didn't pay any attention. It's not that big a deal.
That's that way.
Perfect.
Yes, can you guys hear me? Nope.
Nothing.
There you
Oh, there we go.
Just take.
Thank you.
Great.
Let's go after. Let's go.
All right, we're ready.
All right, we will call to order the Board of Education regular meeting. It's Monday, December 12th. The Board of Education makes available at least one current copy of the Open Meetings Act, which is posted on the west wall of the meeting room and accessible to members of the public. Will you please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will start with the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the consent agenda as presented, including approval of minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting on November 14th, 2022, approval of the proposed accounts for payment, approval of budgetary receipts and expenditures for November 2022, approval of contracts beginning January 2023 for Jalen Weeks, 4th grade at Paddock Lane, Kirsten Beatty, resource at Paddock Lane, Amber Boma, kindergarten at Lincoln, and excuse the absence of Eric Book.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Janet. Next up, Treasurer Report. Jason.
So just some quick updates. The bills for the month totaled $981,497.94. Payroll and insurance, $1,715,167.01, which brought total expenses for the month to $2,696,664.95. Revenue for the month was pretty lean, which is typical of the month of November and December. So revenue was $881,954. We'll see that increase in January, December and January as we start to get some early tax collection, and then also SPED reimbursement, which typically starts in January if everything follows through at the NDE level. We start getting that back, and also we start seeing some grant reimbursement requests for IDEA funds as well. So that's where we are currently.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Any questions, comments about the consent agenda? Seeing none, I will take your votes, please. And motion passes. Next up, outstanding recognition. We will start with Employee of the Month, and I believe Betty is up.
Yes, and I asked my custodian here tonight, under the guise that we were gonna do a presentation about how we were gonna keep Paddock Lane and the other elementary buildings nice and clean and up to date until we move to the new building. So Ben, I told you a lie. So if you'd like to come up here, Ben, Denise, you are our December employee of the month. This is getting hard to come up with these excuses for people, but you wouldn't have come. I don't think if I would have told him before. If a building principal could design the perfect custodian, Ben Neese would fill the bill in every feature. He has patience and understanding, whether working with a building full of students or a large staff that keep Ben hopping all day long. Ben has pride in his job and in his building. The condition of Paddock Lane is Ben's responsibility. You can just ask him. And even with the coming of a much-needed new elementary building, we can all be assured that Paddock Lane will be clean and well taken care of until that day comes. Ben has been without a full custodial staff almost the entire first half of this school year. And though he has put in an enormous number of hours keeping our campus in great shape, you will always find Ben with that big friendly smile on his face. Ben truly is one of a kind. One of Ben's big responsibilities is lunchroom duty. Now, I would imagine that most of us would think the custodian comes to the lunchroom to clean it up after all the students have left. Not Ben. He takes a brunch break from 10:30 to 11 every day, so he can be on duty to help. Ben is masterful at teaching children how to scrape trays, sort silverware from throwaway items, and make certain that milk cartons half full of milk make it in the trash cans instead of on the floor. Due to the number of students at Paddock Lane, Ben often has to set up and take down presentations twice. He never complains. Ben is a full-fledged, full-time member of the Paddock Lane team and jumps right in to take care of whatever needs to be done for the students and staff. Ben oversees 32 student rooms, along with a multi-purpose room, nurse's office, main office area, and guidance office. All day long, Ben is on the run from one area of that campus to another, and never a complaint to be heard, just that friendly smile all the time. We all remember the important role Ben played in saving a young girl's life while simply doing a weekend building check at another elementary school. No surprise there. That would be just like Ben, eyes open and watching out for kids. As I said at the start, if I could design the perfect custodian, Ben would be it. I didn't design him, but I am certainly happy he applied for the custodial position when it became available, and I had the opportunity to make him a member of the Paddock Lane team. We'd like to congratulate you, Ben, on being December's Employee of the Month.
I think that is the best one I've heard yet. That was very well written.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's easy to write when you write subjects. We'll want to take our picture.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Ben, for all your hard work. Next up is Business Friend of the Month, Mr. Alexander.
Okay. Christie, if I can have you come up. I'm going to try and stand close enough to the mic that I can be heard. So, tonight we have the opportunity to recognize a business in our community that has contributed financially, educationally, and provided valuable work experience to the Beatrice Public Schools, students, and more importantly, to our staff as well. Exmark has proven to be a terrific partner in education for many years, and most recently their charitable contributions resulted in a donation of a $15,000 lawnmower that allows us to put money that would otherwise be spent on a lawnmower or upgrades to a lawnmower into other very important causes.
In the development of the House of Orange, Exmark was one of the first local businesses to step forward with a major contribution during the development of that project. There was no hesitation when they were approached, when there was an ask to help provide something nice for our kids at Beatrice, like all the surrounding area schools were putting in, Class B schools were putting in for their kids. Even more significant than those charitable contributions is the participation in the valuable work experiences program that Exmark provides for our high school students. BHS students are able to experience work-based learning opportunities, job shadow experiences, and tours of the Exmark facility on numerous occasions. For the last several years, Exmark has partnered with Engage and the schools to offer a learning opportunity through what's called Manufacturing Day. During Manufacturing Day, BHS students, as well as other area school students, are able to gain valuable knowledge and listen to leaders at Exmark share what they produce, the impacts and goods of their services in the community and the United States, and what positive elements this company offers their employees. Students have returned from Manufacturing Day with many positive feedback comments about Exmark and how they support and how welcoming they were to the students. Members of Exmark have also taken time from their busy schedules to visit Beatrice High School and share their experiences with the students in our career and technical education classes. Exmark leaders are always able to share at a level that our students understand and are encouraged to pursue employment opportunities with Exmark, should they choose that career pathway. So it's my pleasure to thank Christy Moore as the representative tonight from Exmark for all of their donations, not only in terms of product, but in terms of helping our students understand what manufacturing is all about. Christy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll pose for a quick picture.
Thank you. Jason,
Thanks,
better,
Robert.
better flip around and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll do one this side.
Appreciate the recognition. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Christy, and Exmark specifically. All right, next up, board member recognition.
So, as everyone knows, it was an election year in our nation and in our county as well. We have two special board members tonight that will be experiencing their last meeting and per se passing the torch or the gavel to the next people on our board. And so we'd like to just take a little bit of opportunity to talk about each one of them and some of the roles that they have shared with us and talk about the contributions they have made as board members. Many people think that when you're elected as a board member, all you do is show up to a meeting once or twice a month and vote for things. And you maybe read some materials or participate in some school activities or multiple other things. But that is far from the truth. As a board member and an elected board member, you spend multiple hours of your volunteer time to read documents, to peruse policy and understand what it means, and to be able to answer questions to the community or refer them to the right answer when those questions come. It's definitely not an easy job. And it's not a job that comes with a lot of pay either. Actually, none. These two board members have done a terrific job of volunteering their time where needed, when needed, and being part of everything that the school is all about and supporting us in everything that we try to accomplish for the kids of our community. So tonight, we would just like to say thank you to both of them for their service. Erin Chadwick has been with us for 4 years now, serving on her term on the Board of Education. She has served on multiple committees as well and helped us in times of need with her expertise and connections in the community with things such as Engage, Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. So we appreciate all that help and those connections, Aaron, and we thank you very much on behalf of the students and the Board of Education for being a good friend, a good colleague, and a good supporter of our students here at Beatrice Public Schools. The second board member we have with us tonight in the Beatrice band outfit, we would like to say a few special words about as well. John Zimmerman has served 16 years of service. Excuse me, 14 years of service, sorry, on the Board of Education, and served in numerous capacities such as president, vice president, and also on the negotiations committee, the Buildings and Grounds Committee, the SNEA Committee, and multiple other committees that relate back to making decisions about what's best for students. John's been an integral part of the building project that we're currently in the middle of. He served on the Buildings and Grounds Committee to help with that. And from the beginning, John has been an advocate about doing what's best for students, or putting kids first, as the sign says in the back of our boardroom. John, your service has been also recognized by the Nebraska Association of School Board at a level 8 service membership years, which just means that every year the Nebraska Association of School Boards gives points that add up over a given period of time for all of the numerous activities you attend as a board member. John's attended enough to reach a level 8. There's only one more level beyond that. So John reached that this year at the area membership meeting and was awarded a plaque from the NASB for that service as well. With that said, John's been a terrific support person. He's been a terrific for me. He's been a terrific friend. He's been a colleague of the board. He's been an advocate for what's best for students. And John, we want you to know we're going to miss you, and we appreciate you and wish you the best in your next endeavors.
All right, again, thank you very much, John and Aaron, for your service. And as we move forward, next item on the agenda is information portion. We'll start with student update with Riley.
All right. At the preschool, Breakfast with Santa, with help from the high school's Key Club and Homestead Early Risers Kiwanis, was a huge success with a total of 419 people coming through that morning. Home visits will be starting up again in January, and there's lots of fun and learning going on at the preschool. At Paddock Lane has been buzzing with holiday activities. Students and staff have been participating in themed days to count down the 12 school days until Christmas, such as Pajama Day, Favorite Christmas Character Day, Sock Day, and New Year's Fancy. The teachers shared in a treat exchange day, and the students will have a Christmas movie and cookies with the principal day. 3rd through 5th grader students are wrapping up their NSCAS testing and MAPS testing for kindergarten through 2nd graders. At Lincoln and Stoddard Elementary, they had great performances from both the high school and middle school music groups. The kids loved the singing and the dancing. Their kindergarten program will be held tomorrow night, and there are a lot of exciting and fun activities that are coming up before their winter break. They are also completing their NSCAS and MAP testing this week. Over at the middle school, they were conducting a service project and raised over $700 for the Gage County Christmas wish list in order to buy Christmas gifts for families in need. The boys basketball team got 3rd in the Trailblazer Conference basketball tournament, and as the semester ends, students are finishing up their winter benchmark tests and providing great effort in the classroom. And at the high school, finals testing starts Friday and into next Monday and Tuesday. Key Club is currently doing a Santa to a Senior with the Homestead. And both Caden Eggleston and Deegan Nelson both hit their 100th win this past weekend in the Crete Wrestling Invite, so that was exciting. And then winter sports are off to a great start and it's been an overall awesome first semester.
All right, thank you, Riley. Next up is board reports. Stan's report.
So, really, there's no updated report since the last board meeting, which was November 14th. We have not had a stance meeting. We've had a couple of Zoom check-ins with the leadership team, which I am part of, but no formal stance meeting. So our next scheduled stance meeting is not till we come back from winter break.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Negotiations committee, Janet.
Yes, the negotiations committee has met 2 times in person. BEA has presented an offer and we have not acted on that. We will meet again probably after the first of the year.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Now's the time for public forum, citizens' requests for comments, and seeing none, we will go ahead and move forward to the discussion portion. Audit report, Mr. Bruins.
Ryan, thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
It's a lot different having you here without having to wear masks and everything, so we look forward to your report.
Good, I hope not to let you guys down, so I'm gonna sit down.
Yes, that is fine.
I promise I'll take long enough. Okay, so I assume everybody has a copy of the report in front of them, okay. As usual, I'll go through this and fairly quickly and at a fairly high level, but if anybody has any questions, just stop and I'll be happy to answer any questions, okay? So getting into the audit report, I'll just kind of walk everybody through this. Pages 1 through 3 is what they call the independent auditor's report. The report itself has actually kind of changed a little bit, just some additional narrative, commentary type stuff, but at the end of the day, what they did is they moved the opinion paragraph up to the very first thing that you see. And so you can see there that the opinion that we give on these financial statements is it's an unmodified opinion, which is the highest opinion that we can give on a set of financial statements. The rest of this just kind of explains who's responsible for what throughout the audit process. So getting into the numbers part of it, starting on pages 4 through 5, it's kind of a hybrid type income statement, and it's fairly unique to governmental entities, but the way they do this is that it starts with expenses in that first column, that's about the middle of the page, and then as we work our way to the right-hand column, those expenses are offset by various either charges for services or contributions or grants, okay? So that column on the right, the top-hand page, is the net expenditure for each of the various functions. And then as we go down to the bottom of the page, you can see that those expenses are offset by the general receipts, namely property taxes. All in all, you can see that the district ended up about 1.5 million to the positive for this year, which brought their net position, which is since these reports are on a cash basis, really means there's about 18 million of cash on hand. And as we go to page 6, you can see the breakout of that, okay? So there's a little over 15 million sitting in the bank as of August 31st of 22, and about 3.2 million that the county treasurer had collected but not remitted to the district, okay? And that typically happens about the 15th or 20th or so of the following month. So about 18 million of assets available to the district as of the end of the fiscal year. Page 7 and I think through 9 is basically the same information that I just talked about. However, it's grouped by what the government calls major funds. Okay, major funds there's a calculation that we go through to determine what's considered a major fund or not. So you can see the general fund, that's always considered a major fund, and then in this case we have the building fund. Okay, all other funds are consolidated and grouped into that column, other governmental funds, okay? So that came about, I don't know, probably 2 years ago, but you can see how that goes. Okay, here. Starting on page 11, the footnotes. Really, no significant changes to the footnotes. Note 1 is just all definitional based, explaining certain terms and stuff like that to help users understand what is all talked about within the audit report. The one thing that I do like to point out as it relates to the footnotes is it's at the top of page 21. You can see that, let's see, the district had about 14.6 million of payroll that was eligible for the retirement match, okay? That's all set up by state statute, so you can see that the match on that was just under 1.4 million, and that's been the case for years. I just point that out. Note 4 is also kind of helpful for users to understand what the cash outlays are going to be as far as to service foreseeable debt. So you can see the cash outlays that are going to happen within, looks like going to 2023. Let's see here. There are required budget to actual statements in there for each fund. I think the only note that we discovered going through our audit procedures is there was I'll talk to this as it relates to page 55, 2 findings we had this year. One of them is just it's an issue that almost everybody runs into. According to governmental auditing standards, they want each entity to prepare their own financial statement, okay? In reality, that doesn't happen, okay? So we come in and we prepare these statements based off of the information that the district provides, and we put the statements together. Okay, in doing that, it causes us to have this finding. Again, there's no harm, it's just a required note. Something that's a little bit more variable that we see from time to time is 2002-02, that's the budget compliance. There was one fund that actually overspent its budget authority to the tune of $752. So we're also required to report on that. That's all I have as far as this year goes. All in all, on our end, thought it went fine. I appreciate Jason and Jackie Ormeyer's help throughout the process, and that's what I have for this evening.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Ryan.
I just want to get my picture taken with you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Moving on to the action portion. First up, approval of the 21-22 audit. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the 2021-22 financial audit as presented.
Do I have a second? Second by Aaron. Thank you. Jason, do you have any further comments?
Nope.
All right. Any questions or comments in regards to the audit? All right. Seeing none, can I have your votes, please? And motion passes. Next up is discussion, consider, and take all necessary action with regard to approving the guaranteed maximum price for the proposed new PK5 elementary school facility.
Okay, so before we do that, and we have a motion on the table, just a quick update for everybody. As is the case, if you've ever done construction, sometimes you run into a hurdle that comes along, and we ran into a small hurdle in regards to the GMP number, so we don't actually have that number to approve tonight. Our plan was to be able to have that. We've worked towards that, but we had, as you recall from our discussion at the committee of the whole meeting, we had one bid package number 5 that was still out there. And Houseman Construction just had some concerns related to that they wanted to make sure and formalize before we approved that GMP, and also a small legal issue with the GMP that arose really late on Friday, and we didn't know if that was going to affect that number or not. So today we spent a great deal of time talking back and forth about whether or not that would impact it, and we need further opinion before that. So in essence, I think we'll have it all ironed out in the next couple of days, but we're going to probably need to schedule a special meeting next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday to get that GMP approved so work can continue and move forward. So not anything major, just a bunch of discussion that we had to iron out, and we didn't feel comfortable bringing that to you tonight, not knowing exactly how that number would unfold. So we'll be in contact with you tomorrow to check schedules on what day works best, and there's the majority of people scheduled next week and I'm sorry for that. I hate to have to ask you to come for another special meeting, but we do want to get that GMP approved so we can continue the project moving forward.
Now, do we want to do a motion?
To table?
You sure?
Now, do we want to table it, or if there's no second, doesn't it just die? And it's no harm, no foul, basically?
Basically, we can do
Would that
that.
be better than tabling? Because with tabling it, you have to have a specific date set up and whatnot, right?
Right, and we don't
So which would be
have
better?
yeah, I think it's probably better just to
To
leave it.
have no second?
Just no motion, no
Oh,
nothing.
okay.
So we don't have a motion, we don't have to table it, because we don't know the date yet. And as this popped up, it didn't allow us time to connect with everybody on a date. So just better left if we leave that item with no action taken and move on.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, approval of the superintendent's evaluation. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the superintendent's evaluation.
Second.
Motion by Doris, second by Aaron. Any further discussion around the evaluation that we discussed last month? Okay. Can I have your votes, please, to approve the evaluation? And motion passes. Thank you. Next up, approval of superintendent contract addendum. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15 approve the contract addendum for the superintendent for the upcoming 23-24 year.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second by Aaron. Janet, would you like to speak on behalf of this?
In September, the negotiations committee requested a comparability study be done for the superintendent, as this had not been done for several years. We felt that it would not be fair to have the superintendent choose the array and analyze his own compensation package. The results of that study indicated the ranking for Beatrice by student population was number 5 out of 10. The ranking for Beatrice by base salary was number 7 out of 10. The ranking for Beatrice by total compensation was number 8 out of 10. And the ranking for Beatrice by years as a superintendent was number 2 out of 10. The negotiations committee recommendation for the superintendent's salary is an 8.23% increase on the base and an 8.66 total compensation increase. The total base compensation increase is $14,635, and the total compensation increase is $19,068.71. The health insurance increase from Blue Cross Blue Shield was 5.51%, and the health insurance deductible for the superintendent is $2,500. Currently, the superintendent does not have a cell phone allowance, and the contract will add $100 per month in cell phone reimbursement. These changes will place the superintendent's salary at number 5 out of 10 in the array. This is at midpoint with the 2022-23 array compensation. However, this increase will not take effect until the 23-24 school year. There were a number of factors that were also taken into account. This increase aligns with the strategic plan, strategy number 3, which is to recruit, hire, and retain quality staff. Number two, if we were to go out and hire a new superintendent, we would need to pay market value, which is higher than the current compensation the superintendent is receiving. And we will continue to work toward all staff positions being at midpoint. We value all the employees of the Beatrice Public School District and want to retain our staff.
Thank you, Janet. Any further discussion from the board?
I'd like to say that this is a long time coming, because I know every year I was president, Jason kept coming to me saying, I don't really need a raise or just a small one. I want to see the money go towards the other administrators, teachers, staff. So while I didn't allow him to get nothing, we kept it low. So I'm glad to see we're finally getting it back up to where it should be.
Okay, thank you, John. Anybody else? I think I would like to just make a comment as well. To echo a lot of what Jana just said, I think as a board, as a district, we need to be mindful that really maintaining kind of at least that midpoint. Again, when you look at within the market, and if we were ever to need to go out to hire a new superintendent, we would have to be paying in that range anyway. And again, I just I really believe that where we're at now, this definitely warrants this increase to get to that midpoint. And then just the same that Janet just mentioned is making sure that all of our administrative staff, all of our staff, we're really looking at that market. And again, I applaud Janet and Lisa and John on the negotiations committee and all the hard work that they do, not only in Doris for, Doris, for working with the teachers, working with administrative salaries and so forth. So thank you.
I'd like to say that that it's important that we try really hard on the negotiations to make sure all staff is at that midpoint, and that was important to me in this discussion, that it's important to me that the leader be at the midpoint, but it's also important to me that all staff are at that point, if we can't do even more. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, seeing none, I will take your votes. And motion passes. All right, thank you. Next up, we will move on to administrator's report.
Okay, so I would echo a lot of what Riley had to say about the first semester. It's hard to believe that here we are a week and a half before we dismiss for winter break. It's been a terrific first semester. I think our students have challenged themselves to perform at higher levels. I think our staff has challenged our students to perform at higher levels, and very proud of what we saw within the first semester. And as I walked through the buildings last week, tried not to cause too much of a disruption because we did have a lot of testing taking place, and it was very evident that students were putting forth a good effort in those testing efforts. So we'll be anxious to see how the results come back. We've had a great opportunity to talk about our academic expectations in the previous two committee of the whole meetings. We've had an opportunity to talk about our building project. We've had an opportunity to talk about a lot of the great things that our students have done. So just appreciate all of that in the first semester and being able to be a part of it. You as a board should be proud of what you've done in regards to the meetings, the number of extra hours you've had to put in surrounding some of the things that we're doing as well. So tonight we say goodbye to two very important people that we've appreciated greatly. And I know we haven't maybe always seen eye to eye on everything, but we've always been able to, in a civil world, come back together and discuss those things and move forward. And that's what's important. And somewhere in our world, we need to continue to remember that. And so appreciate John and Aaron, both of you, being part of our team in making decisions about kids in the past number of years that I've been here to work with you. So thank you. As stated before, in regards to the gross maximum price of the building, we'll look for a day in the coming week that works for everybody to make that as convenient as possible. I do apologize that came up. Just something that was kind of beyond our control, that hopefully we'll be able to work through quickly in the next day and then get everybody on at a special meeting in the coming week. So pretty much that's all I have this time.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Jason? All right. Notification next meeting. The next regular board meeting of the Board of Education will be January 9th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Administration Building. There will not be a committee of the whole meeting in December. An agenda for the meeting, which shall be kept continually current, is readily available for public inspection at the Superintendent's office during normal business hours. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that the Board of Education of District 15, on my last regular board meeting, adjourn for the evening.
Second.
Thank you, John, and we have a second. Do I have your votes, please? And motion passes. We are adjourned.